Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'll do another reading again with Rudolph Steiner's Occult Science in Chapter 4. So we'll preface what we just read last time around in Part 1. Basically, there's 4 stages of Earth evolution, and not only that, but there's also several different aspects of the human being, like the physical body, the astral body, the life body, and all of these Earth evolutions have been set forth to uh, make way for the human ego. So that's what has been discerned spiritually by a man named Rudolph Steiner. Just like our material science can use, I forgot what the hell it was called. The spectrums of light to look into the universe and see the oldest light. So too has a clairvoyant looked into the past and seen how our Earth and our human and man was formed itself. So as we continue on here on page 114, so here we go. Of the present 4 members of the human being of man, the physical body is the oldest. It is also the member that, in its own way, has attained the greatest perfection. Supersensible research shows that this human member was already in existence during the Saturn evolution. It will be seen in the course of the description that the form, however, which this physical body possessed upon Saturn was something quite different from the present physical human being. This earthly human physical body can only maintain its existence by reason of its connection with the life body, astral body, and ego, described in the preceding parts of this book. Such a connection did not yet exist upon Saturn. At that time, the physical body passed through its first stage of evolution without having a human life body, astral body, or ego inserted into it. During the Saturn evolution, it gradually matured so as to be able to receive a life body. To this end, Saturn had first to pass over into spiritual state and then reincarnate as the sun. During the sun incarnation, what had become the physical body on Saturn unfolded again, as though from a germ of a past evolution, and then only then it could draw into itself an etheric body. Through this insertion of an etheric body, the physical body changed its character. It was raised to a second degree of perfection. A similar thing occurred during the moon evolution. The human ancestor, having evolved from the sun to the moon, received into himself the astral body, and thus the physical body became changed to a third time. It was raised to a third degree of its perfection. Moreover, the life body was likewise changed, and it stood now in the second stage of its perfection. Upon the earth, the ego was added to the human ancestor, consisting of the physical body, life body, and astral body. The physical body thereby reached its 4th degree of perfection, the life body its 3rd, the astral body its 2nd, the ego stands only in its 1st stage of existence. If we give ourselves up to unprejudiced examination of the human being, there will be no difficulty in picturing these various degrees of perfection in individual members. We need only in this connection compare the physical body with the astral. Certainly it is true that the astral body as a sole member stands at a higher stage of evolution than the physical body. And when, in the future, the astral body will have perfected itself, it will have a much greater significance for the entire being of man than the present physical body. Still, in its own way, the physical body has reached a certain climax of evolution. This connection one need but think of the structure of the heart, organized in accordance with the great wisdom, the marvelous structure of the brain and the other organs, even that of individual portion of a bone, for example, that of the upper part of the thigh bone, the great Thor chanter. There is within the end of this bone a net-like or nestle-like structure of delicate bony fibers formed in harmony with the laws of mechanics. The whole is fitted together in such a manner that the least amount of material, the most advantageous effect on the articular surfaces is attained. For example, the most suitable distribution of friction, and as a result, a proper kind of mobility. Thus, in the various parts of the human body, structures are to be found full of wisdom, and we consider further the harmonious cooperation between the parts and the whole, we shall certainly find that it's correct to speak of a particular perfection of this member of the human being. In this connection, the fact that in certain parts of the physical body seemingly inadequate phenomena may appear, or that disturbances may arise either in the structure or in the functions of its we shall even be able to discover that these disturbances are in certain sense only the the necessary shadow side of the wisdom-filled light that is shed over the entire physical organism. Now compare this with the astral body as the bearer of joy and sorrow, of desire and passion. Oh, what insecurity reigns in the body in respect of joy and sorrow. What desires and passions are enacted within it, often meaningless, and running counter to higher human purposes. The astral body is only in process of acquiring the harmony and inner completeness that we already find in the physical body. In like manner, it is possible to show that the ether body in its way appears more perfect than the astral body, but less perfect than the physical body. And an adequate consideration will prove that the essential kernel of the human being, the ego, stands at present only at the beginning of its evolutions. For how much has this ego already accomplished of its task of transforming the other members of man's being in such a manner that they are to be manifested of its own nature? What results from external observation in this direction is made more acute for those who understand spiritual science by means of something else. One may quote the fact that the physical body can be overtaken by sickness. Spiritual science is in the position to show that great part of all sickness generates from the fact that perversity and mistakes of the astral body are transmitted to the etheric body, and in a roundabout way, the latter destroy the complete harmony of the physical body. So let's repeat that again. One may quote the fact that the physical body can be overtaken by sickness. Spiritual science is in the position to show that a great part of all sickness originates from the fact that a perversity and the mistakes of the astral body, the passions, the pains, and the pleasures, are transmitted to the etheric body, the life body, and in a roundabout way, through the latter, destroy and complete the harmony. So it's these two bodies interacting with each other, the passion and the pain, the astral body, and the life body. If they interact in a disharmonious way, they create problems on the physical body. The deeper connection, which can only be touched upon here, and the actual cause may disease process elude the scientific mode of observation that confines itself only to the physical sensory facts. In most cases, it happens that the damaging of the astral body does not produce pathological tendencies of the physical body and the same life in which the damage has occurred, but only in a subsequent one. Therefore, the laws that apply here have a meaning only for those who have been able to acknowledge the repetition of human life on earth. But even if there is no desire to gain such deeper knowledge, yet the ordinary view of life shows that the human being indulges himself altogether too much in enjoyments and desires that undermine the harmony of the physical body. Pleasure, desire, passion do not reside in the physical body, but in the astral body, and this is in many respects still so imperfect that it can destroy the perfection of the physical body. We wish to call attention to the fact that no attempt is made here to prove by such arguments the statements of spiritual science concerning the evolution of the four members of man's being. The proofs are taken from spiritual research, and this shows that the physical body has passed through a fourfold metamorphosis onto higher degrees of perfection, and that the other human members, as already described, have undergone fewer transformations. We only wish to point out that these facts, communications of spiritual research, relate to the facts that effect of which show also an outwardly observable degrees of perfection on the physical life and astral bodies. And that's the end of that's the end of another preface here. And I'll kind of stop at that because those are pretty big ideas. So he's basically saying that there's certain layers of the human being. Okay, the life body, you can kind of relate that to when you look at a plant. You kind of know when a plant's dead or a plant's alive. You can sense its life force. Okay, so there's a life body, there's just a physical body, and then there's an astral body. An astral body that responds to pleasure and pain. Now, the pleasure and pain is different from the physical body. See, all these are different layers of the human being. And he says that the astral body, once it is damaged, can cause damage to the other layers, because the astral body is a higher layer or a higher form of the spiritual body, or of the physical body itself. It's kind of like, oh, what's that goddamn sucker? The fucking Tootsie Pop. How much licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Well, the human being's got 3 licks. It's got an astral body, a life body, and a physical body. The Tootsie Pop's got 1,000,000 licks, right, to get to that center. But if one body damages the other, the physical body is always the subsequent reaction to that. So that's what he's saying about spiritual observation there, about the different evolution of earthly processes and different processes of the development of the physical body. So again, it takes a certain reincarnation to add in the life body. As you said, in the Saturn state wasn't like the human being wasn't as perfected. It didn't have certain elements in it, like the life body and the astral body. So there's certain levels of even evolution and life and even Earth's existence where the human being did not have its full capacity like it is right now. And that's what he even says too, that the human being is still to unfold even greater capacities, because the astral body, the pleasure and pain body, can still be worked upon by the human ego, your awareness, your own consciousness. So that's the end of the second preface in chapter 4, and it stops at page 118, and I'll stop it from there because then it just goes on and on and on. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll read about the next little bit in the chapter here. Thank you very much.